for you guys, and I am so sorry. I know I heard a million voices cry out and be silenced when they noticed there was no Rogue Actions last Monday. And I get it. We made it well over a year without missing a single episode of Rogue Actions on Monday morning. It's consistent, and I missed it. It's my fault. I was at a family reunion. Heinzie almost broke up with me over it. Am I right, Heinzie?
New phone. Who this? Who's this? Who's this? Where am I? Where am I right now? I'm in a class case of emotion.
You look like you're, with the way that the cut of the screen looks right now, you look like you're in a box, just like hidden somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
I'm in a class case of emotion, man. It's okay. It doesn't like me anymore. It's all good. It's fine.
Oh, poor Heinzie.
Good morning, everyone. We're back.
We got a big episode for you guys today. A lot going on in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. 3v3 returns this week. How is our new Galactic Legend going to impact that? It's going to be our first time with JMK and 3v3 with Cat. Yeah. So how is that going to look? I think it's going to shake things up substantially. Also, ships coming to Galactic Challenges. Does this mean we're going to see ships in Conquest? And then over on Heinzie's video, we're going to talk all things Executor. I expect that we'll see that kit here soon, as that is dropping relatively soon. I think early next week, right, is when that drops, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's going to be sooner rather than later. Well, I think probably this week we might get a kit later on, won't we? I mean, if it's going to be released within a week from now, I would be thinking in the next few days we'd probably be seeing something.
Fingers crossed. So stay tuned, guys. We will be keeping you guys posted on when all of those changes and announcements come out on our channels. So, but before we get into that, we've got a mini moment, and I feel like this is really appropriate for all the ship stuff going on. This is going to cause a little discussion. So, no ship raids, not making ships to drop. Why does no one like ships?
I know you're a big fan of ships, Cubs. Everyone knows you're a massive fan of ships. So, yeah, having you talk about ships really is quite refreshing.
Here's how I feel about ships. So I've had a come to Jesus moment on the channel, a come to ships moment on the channel, where it's a necessary evil. Like, if I want to be really competitive in Grand Arena, which I do, I've got to farm the ships. But here's my concern right now is while I'm excited about the Executor, I'm farming for the Executor. I think it's probably going to make a huge difference for those who have it, and I think it's going to be really hard for those who don't. I don't see how adding another capital ship to this game right now is going to make people magically like ships more. And I really do think that this post here makes two good points, actually. We don't have any ship raids, and we don't have that double drop on ships, which is making farming so much more miserable for ships. Why don't we have those two things? It doesn't necessarily have to be a ship raid. I think maybe adding ships to Galactic Challenges could get ships in a better place, but I would love to see more direct effort to make ships more engaging and actually fun, because right now, I don't think ships are that fun. Do you agree?
I think that we don't have enough of them, Cubs. I think that's really the core issue here in my mind. I mean, we have a lot more capital ships than we actually have ships themselves to go with them. I see that being a massive issue, and it's not something I can see will be a really easy fix immediately, unfortunately, because we're going to need a good 10, 15 ships really to sort of get that ratio back up again, where you're going to be able to fill all these guys up and then deploy them where you require them in a strong enough fashion. And that's not something that's going to happen overnight. That's a lot of marquees. That's a lot of Conquest unlocks. It's going to be a lot of different avenues to fix that problem. It's just not an immediate fix. And it's something, and crewless ships, of course, as well. We're going to need some more crewless ships, and that's a whole different topic. So yeah, it's certainly not going to be easy to fix overnight, no doubt.
Now, I do think, let's move on and talk about ships in Conquest, that potential. I do think that having ships added to Galactic Challenges, as much as people don't like it, that could actually be a really good step towards making ships more engaging, using them in more meaningful places. My concern is, however, with the Galactic Challenge, is that it comes out the day of the Executor. My concern is that they're going to be like, all right, ships in Conquest. Yeah, the feat is Executor feat. So if they do that, I feel like right away it's gonna turn people off. So I'm crossing my fingers that they don't do that, and I hope that's just a coincidence. Those are starting the same day. But do you think, Heinzie, that this is the first step towards adding ships to Conquest?
I think that it's only a matter of time before they do it. I mean, we know with Conquest, it's been built to make variety easy to accomplish. That's been the whole design behind it. So the whole idea is that you can chop and change bits and pieces out, phases, and nodes to whatever they want to do in an easy and efficient fashion.
Right.
It makes sense at some point to include them because really, what are we using them for? Arena for crystals and Zeta mats, and that's it. And that's just not enough for a collector game.
Arena.
We should, and Arena. I'm
and
sorry, my mistake.
Wars.
Yeah, and Territory Wars.
And Territory Battles.
Get
wrecked! Get wrecked!
Yeah, maybe you're right. Look, maybe... Okay, I just don't see it valuable enough yet. I think Conquest, at least, you can do something exciting with them and something different, especially if there's a way that you can add some sort of modifiers to make, Consular just do silly stuff where it just deletes people. There's ways and means that you can make it fun. I think the core of Conquest really at the moment needs to move back to the fun component. I think it's gotten a little bit grindy recently.
You're going all over the place now. Now we're talking about Conquest. Yeah,
I know.
Let's keep it on ships. So ships. Here's something else that I just want to say right now. Because if we complain about ships, right, and I am at the front of that mob, let's get ships in a better place. If we're going to do that and we're going to ask CG, like, we want ships to be more engaging and more used in this game, and they add ships to Conquest, and all we do is complain about ships in Conquest, then my question to the community, what the hell do you want, right? I mean, I understand we want more ships. We're getting more ships. We're getting another capital ship. I would like to see and expect to see more ships that come along with that, but part of making ships more exciting and more meaningful is including them in those big game modes like Conquest. I don't think that we're going to get a ship raid. I think we need to just accept that right now. But I also feel like if we got a ship raid, I feel like people would complain about that because people they don't want to farm the ships for it. And so if we're going to ask for improved ship usability in this game, and then they put ships in more game modes, I think what if we're going to complain about that too, then what do we even want? You know what I mean?
Okay, so back to the point about people not wanting to farm them, okay? So you mentioned that a minute ago. I disagree with that. And the reason I say that is back then when chips were launched and released, and then mods were around the same time, a lot of people chose one or the other, okay?
I remember that, yeah.
I was one of those people that went down the ship's direction and didn't pay enough attention to mods. I've been paying the price for that ever since. If there's a way that ships are definitely more useful and viable and somehow will give a player an advantage for something that's been farmed for a heck of a long time, that to me is not a problem.
Right.
If people don't want to farm them, that's totally your call. But don't blame that because, then everyone's got to farm them. That's your decision. That's what we do in this game. We decide what we want to do. But yeah, I think there are definitely more avenues of ship-based content we need. Definitely, no doubt. Or somehow make them more valuable in ways that we currently use them to actually bring them in and actually make them more engaging. I think we need to do that. But the core of the problem to me, again, is definitely, and we don't want more ships. Let's be clear, Cubs. We don't want more. Yeah. We need them because we've got way too many capital ships. The ratio ain't right, straight up. And that to me is not an easy fix, straight up.
Yep, I think that it's a twofold problem to address. Number one, we need more fleets. We do.
Yeah.
And people who don't want to farm ships, look, it's part of the game. We're going to have to do that, which is also why I kind of wish that they would carve out fleet farming to be completely separate from gear farming, so you don't have to choose between one or the other, but that's another subject. But we need more fleets, and we need to use fleets in more meaningful areas. And so I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to add. They're obviously adding to galactic challenges right now. I think Conquest is next, and I think that we're going to get more marquee ships along with that.
But look at light side territory battles, Cubs. You mentioned that, right? For Phase 4, we need double the fleet GP now just to get the additional stars needed for that phase. Right. We need to hit that metric. The only way you're going to do that is to either release more content, release some sort of modifiers within the current ships we have to boost our GP, or both, actually, to be honest. So that is not going to be an easy bridge to cross. There's some serious work there with ships across the board, no doubt. We need that shipload of content we've been told's coming, straight up.
Lots to do, and big thing I would add at the end here before we move on to 3v3 is if you want ships to get better, you're gonna need to start farming ships, and it's
100%.
I've said this so many times on my channel. I'm gonna iterate it again. Farm for executor. I just
Yes.
with how much what the requirements are. We've never seen requirements that high for a ship. We haven't had a meta shift in so long. I think this ship is gonna be huge, and if you're not farming for it right now, I really feel like you're going to regret it. I feel like you're going to regret it. And if you want to wait to see the kit, fine. Wait to see the kit. Don't make the gamble that I'm making. I'm gambling 100% on this, and I've already spent money on it. And I'm not saying everyone should spend money. And I've had some people like, oh, Cubs, don't like you're CG's puppet asking people. I'm not asking people to spend money. I'm just asking people to be smart about this. Be smart about it. And go for that ship. So let's talk about 3v3. So obviously we've had a very, very OP combination of Jedi Master Kenobi with Cat emerge in Arena. Very difficult to beat. We have seen some counters come up. Notably, Jedi Master Luke is actually a very viable counter that I think is exciting and elevates JMK or JML's usability in the game. But Heinze, what do you expect to see in 3v3? How difficult do you think this is going to be to beat, and what combinations do you think we're going to see?
The strategy will be really interesting, Cubs. It'll be very, very interesting because, again, it kind of depends on everyone's individual roster. A lot of people are going to have Commander Tano, but they're not all going to have Kenobi. Right. A lot of them do, but not everyone will. So people are going to use it in their own way, shape, or form. Right. Because it's been a pretty, obviously, some people obviously are not going to have that. So for those, I'm sorry, I'm just casting a general assumption here. Right. But a lot of people that have been working pretty hard on Conquest and getting reasonable rewards either will have it unlocked now or very, very close, one or the other. Yeah. So again, I think you'll find that, we're going to find different options. Kenobi, obviously, and GK snips are going to be obvious options. For those that don't, we're going to see it with Bam. Beskar Mando, definitely an option with IG-11 in there as well. I think we'll certainly see that. We'll see it, obviously, with the Padme lineup too. Padme GK, Commander Tano. There's certainly a few different variations we'll see. But the interesting thing will be whether some people, and we won't know until the first 3 rounds are done, how people will use her. And what I mean by that is some people are going to keep her for attack and not even put her on defense. Right. And that will be really interesting to see how many people are going to either use it in either scenario. Are you going to keep it to make sure you can take out the Commander Tano on the opposition defense or not? I think a lot of people might probably keep that lineup for attack. I think I will be. But we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out.
Yeah. So here's my take on that. If you have Cat, put her on defense.
Yeah. A lot of people go, you know what? You're putting Cat on defense. I'm going to keep mine because mine's faster and I can insta-kill quicker.
I get that. And, maybe that's what you do. I feel like she is such a liability when you're going against her.
She's going to be a banner strip because she's going to just annihilate an opponent. Character. Absolutely. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm really interested to see. I mean, we're seeing a real emphasis to a lot of the Galactic Legends, really, and characters like that not even put on defense at all. We're seeing a lot of cheese defenses lately. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. And that's not going to get. It's going to be a lot more interesting as we lead into obviously the balance changes too.
Give me your cheese defense. I've seen a lot of them too, and they're so easy to kill. I always win against cheese defenses. That's
because you're more efficient in attack, and that's the point. Sometimes it comes down to an efficiency, battle, and that sometimes can go sideways. I've seen it. I've been a part of it myself. I've squeezed out 2 banner wins recently because of cheese defenses. So again, it's certainly really interesting, and I can't wait to see how people are going to go using new characters. But more often than not, if a new character is released, it will be put on defense because they don't quite know how to use it properly yet and find the best fit. Yeah. So probably the first set of 3, you will find it more on defense than not. I'm putting her on
defense. I'm putting her on defense almost every round. The only scenario that I think I would maybe hold for offense is if my opponent also has Jedi Master Kenobi. Because then it's just like, I'm concerned about what I'm going to use to beat Jedi Master Kenobi. But if my opponent doesn't have Jedi Master Kenobi, it's on defense. Good luck.
Yeah, and that's it. And this is what I mean. It comes down to everyone's roster, their opponent, and obviously, guys, number 1 rule, scout your opponents. See what they've got. See what the likelihood is and what they're going to use her with. That's really the key with any battle in a GAC.
Right. Well, it's a good consideration. We've got a lot to think about with 3v3, and I'm sure that you're going to see a lot of best 3v3 team videos coming out soon. So everyone, we're going to be jumping off over to Heinze's video. Thank you so much for joining us here. Like this video on the way out. And as always, my brothers, don't forget,